On my quest to reduce the reliance on my phone, I've slowly been chipping away at its use cases and either replacing them with physical alternatives or a more dedicated device. A big feature that I still need to replace, however, is how I listen to music. Currently, I'm juggling between Spotify, YouTube Music, and SoundCloud, with albums and playlists completely different on each one. And even if I kept my phone as my primary listening device, the way I'm organizing the music I listen to is just getting too exhausting. From having songs randomly disappear or not being available in my country, to having 2 songs from the same artist saved on different platforms, I just needed to make a change. After spending some time online seeing how other people listen to music, I figured out I needed to start my own music library. And since I'm a nerd, we're doing it in the terminal. This is Beats, an open source music library manager, auto metadata adder, album art downloader, and so much more. I've had a lot of fun setting it up, and for a terminal application, it's super easy to configure. This video won't really be a tutorial though, I'm just kind of excited to showcase something that I've used. But if this video somehow convinces you to start your own music library, the Beats website is a great place to start, or you can check the description for some more traditional app recommendations. And since a personal music library is kind of pointless without a personal music player, I'll be showing you how I plan to tie everything together at home, out in public, in my personal post-streaming era. So, let's start at the beginning. What does Beats even do? Let's say you have a bunch of music files, they're scattered around everywhere, unorganized, untagged, and you want to put everything in the right place. You could use an MP3 editor and go through every single song, but doing this manually for hundreds of songs, all with varying degrees of existing metadata and slightly different file names, would take a long time, not to mention the sanity you'd lose in the process. So I just let Beats handle it for me. After installing Beats, the setup is insanely minimal. All I did was go into the config file, set my library's location, enabled some plugins, and yeah, that's genuinely it. Since I had no music to start with, I had to go and get some. And although there are a variety of ways to acquire music, I'm just going to do an example of an album that I own in Bandcamp. You should always try and support independent artists if you can afford to. Bandcamp makes things super easy. If you bought an album on there, you can just download the zip file, and then all you have to do is import that zip file with Beat. It then automatically extracts and organizes the files for you by artists, and then album, and then all the songs. The metadata that Bandcamp provides is pretty good already, so Beats doesn't have to do much in here, but if there were missing fields, Beats can fill it in for you. On top of this, Beats plugin service means that if you're migrating from a streaming service, you could get a plugin that downloads your playlists and albums, and then automatically organizes them and imports them for you. I don't really feel comfortable saying how you would go about doing this, as ripping from SoundCloud and YouTube feels like a little bit of a legal gray area, but I'm sure you're all smart enough to figure out by yourselves. Once your library is set up, manipulating your music is easier than ever. You can export your whole library as MP3s to save space on the portable device. You can tag your music with custom tags and filter it how you see fit. At this point, it's your library, so you can organize and add to it however you like. Personally, I'm trying to stick with full albums at this point, as I feel like it's been so long since I actually appreciated albums from start to finish. Maybe it's me, maybe it's the streaming age we're in, but it just feels so refreshing to listen to a project in full. So, with a growing library of music, what am I using to play it all? This is the Snowsky Echo Mini, a small music player that looks cool, but most importantly, is very lightweight and stays out of the way. It's definitely not the perfect device, but as a cheap entry-level music player from a company that also designs high-end products, it's a good entry point into owning your own music. To be honest, I don't really care for the whole cassette tape aesthetic that the device goes for, but I appreciate that it looks unique, and most importantly that it has physical buttons. The fact that I don't have to take it out of my pocket to pause or skip is great. I just really wish we had more devices with physical buttons. Overall, the Echo Mini has been great at covering all of my personal focus listening, but there's still rare cases where I need the more modern approach that we're all used to. Sometimes I want to listen to music while playing a game on my PC, or when I'm in the car with friends. What do I do in these situations? At home, my current plan is to sync my music library into Jellyfin, and then I can stream it on the local network to my PC. But this won't really work for my phone when I'm using CarPlay. And yeah, even though I'm not listening to music on my phone and I'm trying to use my phone less, I still need a good music player to use when I'm driving. Truth is, other than my incompetence in navigating myself anywhere, there are a lot of situations where I still need my phone's features, music being one of them. Like, what could I expect myself to say when my friend says, "Hey, can I cue a song real quick?" And then I reply, "Well, it depends. Can you check if it's on my USB?" I'm not trying to inconvenience other people or ruin the vibe, especially when a change like this has stemmed from my listening habits being inconvenient in the first place. Anyway, I said that I'd be spending this video showcasing a tool, and instead I've just been talking about music players instead of my music library itself, partially because Beats makes it very easy to the point where I don't really have to think about it much, but also because they're just another part of the process that I enjoy. No, I had fun setting up this little weekend project, and hopefully you had fun watching. God, that's cringe. I don't know. Projects like these are something that I used to do quite frequently and I kind of miss. So hopefully I can start doing more of them again. If you want to stay tuned with other tech and tools that I end up checking out, please subscribe. I don't post that often, so I promise not to be annoying. And yeah, bye.